I'm here with Kathryn Hatch. Katie, you did a study looking at intraoperative aberrometry and toric IOL outcomes. Can I get you to sort of set this up? What was the question that the study sought to answer?
Thanks, Josh. We were looking at the use of intraoperative aberrometry with the use of toric IOLs, and it basically was trying to address two questions. We were looking to determine whether the toric IOL power, whether we were changing our power intraoperatively, and also it helped with alignment, how we are aligning our toric IOLs, how good of a job are we actually doing without aberrometry. And what this paper was looking at is, are our outcomes going to be better with aberrometry?
So what was the design of the study, and what was the main outcome measure that you were following?
So the main outcome measure was we were looking at mean residual refractive astigmatism postoperatively, and it was a retrospective comparative trial in a private practice setting with myself and Dr. Talamo. We were the two surgeons involved in the study.
And how large was that? How many patients were?
It wasn't a huge study. We had 37 patients in our aura group, and we had 27 in our non-aberrometry group. And
what did you find?
We found that we had patients were in the aberrometry group were 2.5 times more likely to have a reduction in their astigmatism with the use of aberrometry compared to non-aberrometry. And that was the group specifically in the less than half a diopter of residual refractive astigmatism.
So tell me, I mean, I come as a shock to you. I know I'm a geek, so I'm interested in these sorts of things. I have two questions. One is, having done this study, or even while you were doing this study, is it your general practice to use intraoperative aberrometry for every single toric case? And then question two is, how much time does that add to the case?
So we for higher toric lenses, I'm using it almost all the time. I mean, I feel that certainly, for the T6, T5s and above, I think it has a significant role, especially for the rotation component. So just getting it exactly on axis, and it does add a few minutes to the operating room's times. So that is something we have to account for.
Kitty, I understand that the outcomes were better for the aura group in terms of the postoperative residual cylinder. And presumably, this is because, I would guess, you got some information from the aberrometer that prompted you to rotate, to make an adjustment with the orientation of the toric lens. How often did that happen? How often did you get a reading and say, I am going to go and I'm going to rotate the lens a little bit?
So in about 2/3 of patients, we didn't need to rotate the lens. So actually 1 in 3 patients did have at least one additional rotation. And the toric power that we used, we did change that in 25% of patients as well. So 1 in 4 patients had a power change in terms of the toric power, and then 1 in 3 patients had a rotation change.
Meaning that you put in the lens, they got an aura reading, you decided to explant the lens right there and put another lens?
No, actually we did an aphakic reading, and then we were maybe planning for a T4, and then we would do a T5 or do a T, or exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, from my standpoint, that's interesting and it's gratifying in two ways. Number one, I'm happy to hear, not doing this personally, that 2/3 of the cases that you didn't change. But I mean, clearly this sounds like a valuable tool.
Absolutely, but even in those 2/3 of patients that we didn't change, we could see the under the operating microscope, and with the use of the aura, we could actually see the axis that it was telling us where to place it. So even though we weren't rotating, we did have some guidance with the aura in those cases.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping to do some of these things too. So I'm interested on a personal level, but I'm concerned with the amount of time that it's going to add to the case. Really vital stuff. Katie, thank you very much for spending time with us today.
Thanks very much, Josh.